A lot of talk about schools, how education is still happening during the pandemic, and there are a lot of things going on with education and how teachers continue to persevere, continue to be awesome. And we in the DC area in Frederick have an awesome teacher who just got a national recognition. Casey Kaiser is a third grade teacher at Butterfly Ridge Elementary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're great. We're so glad you joined us today. So the NEA gave one of their highest awards to you, and you're sort of in the immediacy of having it happen because you just found out last Friday, right?
I did. Yeah. I found out during the live gala event. I did not know beforehand, and I was definitely surprised.
And as you're going through this process, you're also teaching school in and out of virtual learning. I mean, just besides being one of the highest recognized teachers in the country, how has it been for you just this whole school year?
This school year has been tough, but I think we have really focused on building relationships, whether that's been virtual. And I actually just got to have my first day it was like 340 days that I had not been in my classroom with other students. And last Tuesday was the first time I got to be back in my classroom with about half of my class because we're socially distanced, and it was unreal and incredible. And the moment I've been waiting for. All teachers everywhere have wanted to go back for so long. We just wanted to make sure that we were doing it safely, and that our staff and our teachers and our students and their families can do it safely. So I am very looking forward to being back in the classroom. But this year has been absolutely difficult for the students, the families, us at home. So it's been pretty overwhelming.
Let's talk about you and being awesome. Let's go back to you and why you got this amazing award, because you've done so much in the community and with your students. Third grade, it's an elementary year. It's a time where they're just little sponges. I want to talk about the initiative that you did with the Bow Tie Club.
Yeah, so it's actually third, fourth, and fifth grade. So a lot of the students in the club don't necessarily have to be in my classroom. And we opened up this brand new school, Butterfly Ridge, 3 years ago. And there was a need where our community that we were teaching didn't reflect our teaching staff. And that's not just a Butterfly Ridge problem. It's a systematic problem where we're not able to hire people that reflect our population. So our students weren't seeing themselves in the careers that they wanted to be or the people that they interact with every day. And I wanted to do something to sort of bridge that gap and foster it myself, because I myself couldn't be the role model for the students that I taught as well. I could be a role model in the classroom and trying to get them to have a love of learning, but I wanted there to be a way for me to bring like community members and people that work in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area that can show them how to become a leader and what they inspire to be. We've had artists come in, and the boys will paint. That was probably the worst idea, as I buttoned them up in their little white shirts, and the artist was like, "We're going to use red and blue today." And I was like, "No." And one little boy, the first day, he like wiped his little stomach, and I was like, "Well, there's 2 handprints on his bow ties." But the boys come to my classroom in the morning when we have bow tie that week. Or whenever we have a speaker, and they get on their shirts and they put on their bow ties, which is extremely hard to learn how to tie a real bow tie. They have little clip-ons, but we have had a few guests come in and try to teach them how to tie a bow tie.
I didn't learn until I was about 32. So
yeah, it's really hard, and I wear mine as well. So the first hour, they eat a snack, they talk with each other, sort of talk about things that are going on in school, because some of them are having issues or things at home. So it's just that restorative practice where they're able to open up and feel like they can trust other peers that might not necessarily be in their class. And then the second hour really focuses on someone else coming in and talking to them. We've had rock stars from the 80s, and we've had sports. We've had our local mayor and some of our county councilmen. So it's just been pretty incredible opportunity for them.
Yeah, that's an amazing program. And also, I want to talk about, as we continue to celebrate Casey and how awesome she is, how you engage and inspire your not only your students, but your colleagues and other teachers with your costumes.
Yeah, I probably don't. I do like to wear a good costume. It's just a way to keep the kids like on their toes. They, they sit there and go, "Oh, Miss Kaiser, you're so embarrassing." But then they're like, "Okay, wait, this is funny." And by the end of the lesson, they're like really into it. Because you're right, third grade is like a very weird year where there's like they love everything in the beginning of the year, and then they start to become like a little too cool for school. Like, I don't know about this. So I have to do anything I possibly can to keep them engaged. And third grade is also a huge jump academically. A lot of new content, multiplication, division, fractions, things that they haven't learned in the past. It's this huge jump. So I felt in the first few years I kept teaching third grade that there was a disconnect, that like they needed something more to get their attention. So I have been known to put on a full costume, and who doesn't love to like wear, I mean, I get to be an actress every day, get to go on stage, and even virtually, thank goodness there's like not a lot of people in my home to hear the craziness that I try to do just to keep their attentions. Because especially when they're at home virtually learning, they have other distractions and things going on in their household that they can't avoid because either they have another student or a sibling in class. So anything to do to get their attention, and who doesn't love a good wig?
Do you have any like pro tip advice? Because you are an expert on this, like any pro tip advice to keep kids engaged during virtual learning or to like keep the environment going?
Yeah. Use their name. It is so important to address them by name. They need to feel welcome and a part of your classroom. So I throw in a kid's name every few seconds while I'm reading a book or I'm article, and virtually learning, they're my teachers. Like I pick an assistant teacher every single day. They share their screen. They help me. They help take attendance. Like they're my little busybodies because I need them engaged and active, timekeepers, anything to make them feel like they're a part of running this classroom, because we're all so far apart and separate. So definitely using their names and giving them jobs. It makes my life a little bit easier.
So it's obvious and easy to see why you, Casey Kaiser, are being honored with such an awesome award. I do have one question for you, though, about kids coming back and people, getting back in the classroom. The parents, as they were dropping them off, were they like, "Take care of my cherub, I've nurtured them," or were they like, "See you, teach," squeal out of the driveway?
Yeah, I wish I got to see that. What I did see on Tuesday morning are like deer in headlights, because we had parents would drop them off, and they we had a teacher at each side of the school 6 feet apart, and they would usher like, "Where are you going, Miss Kaiser?" "Okay, this way." "Okay, this way," because we have a huge school. So then like the door would open, I had music blaring, I was dancing, I was like screaming, I was like, "First day of school," and they were like, this is so overwhelming, because for a lot of them, 5 of my 11 students that came Tuesday had never even stepped foot in Butterfly Ridge. They were new to this county or new to this school. So they had this is the first time. I mean, I was bucket of tears. They're all happy tears, but just very overwhelming. It was the first time they had been in the building, first time they had met me in person. So it was very hard not to like, "Oh, welcome." But I was like, "Come on in." And so deer in headlights until about, 2 hours in. And then they're like, "Oh, I'm totally comfortable." I forget, they remember what it's like to be in school. So, but I'm sure the parents were a little bit excited. A lot of them need to be at work, and this has just been so incredibly hard for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Casey Kaiser from Butterfly Ridge in Frederick, thank you for the time and congrats on the huge award. And don't be a stranger. You're always welcome on our show.
Perfect. Thank you both so much.